Let's talk about the main event from this weekend first, just because, I mean, Johnny Walker gets
What
it
a
done.
fight.
Gets it
9
done.
a.m. Eastern time.
Johnny Walker breaks the losing streak, the 0-10 for Brazilian fighters in main events. Who thought that he would be the one to do it? He tore up his leg. I do think he maybe might have hit Zhang with a leg kick that kind of shuts off that perennial nerve. It kind of looked like that. Regardless, I mean, he did what he had to do. He was able to finish him with ground and pound. I thought Johnny looked pretty good. I mean, I will say the fake glove touch to the takedown where he ended up in bottom position was definitely a Johnny Walker moment, but it was fun nonetheless.
Yeah, and you know what? I think we'll go back to MMA Guru real quick. He's been saying that Eric Nixick has made his fighters a little bit less aggressive, more spars. I think Johnny Walker took everything that Eric Nixick has been telling him to do, threw it out the window, and it worked. So maybe that goes to that point because
It worked.
he Nixick would have never told him to shoot that takedown like that. I mean, he came out there with the no mustache, matched his brother Walter,
Yep.
and I was worried for him. Zhang destroyed Anthony Smith with elbows and guard.
Oh yeah.
And I'll be honest, Zhang looked pretty solid and comfortable for most of that first round. For the majority of that first round, he looked pretty in control and like he was going to find that knockout sooner rather than later. Like you
I
said,
thought when this fight was booked that it was Johnny Walker's funeral.
I did not think, I thought it was going to be another meme. I did not think he had a chance.
Nope.
And like you said, that those leg kicks, I mean, they built up. And the second he saw that weakness, he attacked it. And the ground and pound was almost too much. I mean, Zhang was continuously defending himself, but I've seen fights get stopped sooner.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, I mean, it was impressive by Johnny Walker. He took it all. He heard the hate and he pushed through it. He is still relevant in the light heavyweight division, even though some
Oh
people
yeah.
have been telling him to move up to heavyweight. I think with his brother ranked at heavyweight, that's a move that maybe happens after one more meme knockout. But
Yeah, potentially.
for now, I mean, it was a little too much too soon for Ming Yang Zhang. Clearly, when you watch that fight, they have sparred before, they've trained before. It's clear that Ming Yang Zhang has won the majority of those sparring moments. It was also clear that Johnny Walker knew that there was going to be stuff to take advantage of, and in a real fight, he would be able to outdog him, and
I
he
think
outdogged him.
I think Zhang wins this fight probably 7 or 8 times out of 10.
Yeah,
I
probably the
think
vast
I
majority.
well, I think on paper Zhang wins this fight. I just think Johnny Walker doesn't know how to read. I think that that's kind of one of those moments where Johnny Walker just said, "Yeah, I'm just gonna. He's either gonna get knocked out cold, and it's gonna be the funniest thing you've ever seen, or he's somehow gonna beat someone he has no business beating." I think that that's kind of where we're at with Johnny Walker's career at this point, but entertaining nonetheless.
Yeah, and
Entertaining.
I will say this about Johnny, little talked about point. He had the new dad strength.
Dad strength plays a role. It absolutely does.
So it
Now,
was a fun fight, and that was a shocker to start. Well, I guess to
oh yeah,
end
to
everybody's
end.
morning.
Yeah, but it was. I woke up to seeing that he won, and I was just like, "What?"
Yeah, I felt like a real European fan. I mean, I got
Yeah,
European friends who get up early, 2, 3 in the morning, midnight, whatever it is, every week to watch the UFC. I felt like I was in Europe, and you know what? I enjoyed it. It was fun.
I was in bed. I got a little tipsy the night before. I was sleeping.
I
Anyways,
only
let's talk
slept one
about.
hour, one
Oh
hour of
yeah,
sleep.
brother. No, thank you. Let's talk about the co-main event though. The fight that almost didn't happen. First of
Probably
all,
shouldn't have happened,
probably shouldn't have happened. For
and
those of
I
you that
didn't.
don't,
I'm not there.
for,
But shouldn't have
for,
happened.
for those of you that don't know, Brian Ortega missed weight very badly. Not the first time he's missed weight in his career. Won't be the last. I can almost guarantee it. But Brian Ortega not only missed weight, it was reported by several news outlets, even pretty what's the pretty trusted news outlets, ones that usually have the right information. They were saying he collapsed. They were saying he went to the hospital. They were saying this fight was canceled. Well, he comes out, weighs in at 153 pounds. They change it to catch weight bout at 153. Aljamain Sterling obviously looked great on the scales. Brian Ortega looked like he was dying. He could barely walk up to Aljamain when they were doing their face off. He looked like he didn't look like himself at all. I mean, he looked like a shell of a man, really.
It was scary, and to think that they kind of were keeping it under wraps. They were, I mean, understandably not talking about it. And we were like, why is this fight still going on? The people that saw those tweets, and I think when the fight started, I mean, Aljamain just And first off, Aljamain looks great at 145, moving up from 135. He looks massive. He looks in shape, and he looked great the first 2 rounds. I mean, didn't even attempt to wrestle, which is his bread and butter, and just stayed on the outside, jabbed him up, mixed in some good kicks. He honestly took a lower output strategy than he typically does and just kind of classed him on the feet.
Yeah.
But once that third round hit, you knew that Brian Ortega had that championship round stamina. And little by little, Ortega had more moments. He started working the body, he started landing some punches. Aljamain hurt his elbow, which I'm sure we'll talk about later. But uh, Ortega started having some little tiny moments in there, which get you a little worried about Aljamain at 145
Mhm.
against a corpse of Ortega based off that weight cut. But he still outclassed him, still found a way to win each round. 5-0s across the board, 50-45. And I think it'll be interesting to see what happens here. I think Ortega's going to have to move to lightweight.
I think he needs to move to lightweight. I think he should have moved to lightweight after his last weight
Yeah.
miss. He hasn't looked the same at featherweight. You know, he's I mean, really ever since he lost to Volk, right? Ever since he almost got the choke on Volk and then ended up losing, he just hasn't really looked the same, you know. And there's been rumors about him having some personal stuff going on as well. I'm not going to touch on that because it's none of my business. But I will say that obviously plays a factor with mental health. Like it all plays a factor with these fighters. I think maybe 155 might be a good fresh start for him, though, personally.
Yeah, and he's not the biggest 145er, but he definitely has a big frame. So I'm sure he can go and put some muscle on, not have to cut as much weight as well, which will probably help him just with the balance of his life, the dieting and the training camp stuff, which might allow him to focus on his body a little bit more, which will help. I think he might struggle at 155. The talent there is deep. There's a lot of guys that can defensively grapple and then can still strike. And I think for Ortega, he needs to be smart about what happens the rest of his career. He's in a great career. He's a great fighter. He definitely has more wins in him, but we need to be careful about who he's fighting and when, where, and how he's getting there. Because at this point, it is concerning with those weight misses.
Yep, I agree completely.